Hi all, back with more Unconditional Surrender. Training scenario 4, this is part 23. It's still the same day as I recorded 22, but later at night though, so I'm going to see if I can sneak through a quick part. Oh, I did forget to activate Yugoslavia, didn't I? I'm saying it's not a huge big deal, but they could have one of their. Well, I don't know what's involved in them, is there? Well, let's sort that out. I kind of forgot all about that. So again, just being lazy and glancing at this out the rule book that I have. Which this might be an area where it's not so clever to do that. Country activation 13.1. Determine the faction it joins. Well, we're making them, forcing them, encouraging them to be pro-Axis, so they are going to be part of the Axis. Country setup 13.1.2. Activated countries, units, and markers are placed as follows. National will markers put in the national will track. Now let me see. Oh, there's a few. Ooh, Yugoslavia's got a good bit. What was the other one we had? Romania. Romania's not got as much. This looks like there's a few counters for Yugoslavia anyway. There is indeed. So we've got all of that. Oh, some of that's going to be their will marker and production marker. Right, okay. And they've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they've only got one full ground unit, field unit in it. So their well, according to the back of this, is 6. Just can double check that at the back of the book as well. Yugoslavia, just to check production as well. Yugoslavia, National Will 6, Factories 2 it says. Does that tell you in the back as well? Yeah, starting with 2. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. That's focusing in or not. I don't think it is. I think I think it's alright elsewhere, but I think when I used to be able to focus in on that, maybe I've clicked something. So what did I say? Their will was 6. So 2 more than what Hungary had as well. So I'm wondering if I should. Nah, it's a bit cheeky to rewind. Rewind to the strategic movement and move on the Yugoslavian units. I'll do it next turn if need be. So the production, what did they say, was 2? Yeah, now I definitely read that because I was worried about when you put this on the map, we're beyond it. That isn't focusing on, is it? I think it is it? I think I must have clicked something. Well, that focuses on my hand though. Just drop the counter now as well. Very good, Grant. Let me give me a second. Yeah, these used to zoom in quite close. That's not working. Right, I never used to have that issue. Anyway, it's not a huge big deal. So starting on 2 production. Yeah, what I was saying there was when I was reading through the production, it does say that when a country activates, that you actually put the production marker on what its cost is. So I definitely read that when I was looking through the rules. I'm not going to go back and find that. So hopefully that is right. But whereas I put on the 2 bolts just now, but I think before my thinking was, well, hang on, we're not in the economy state here, so maybe it should still be at 0 at the moment. I'm not going to do anything with the units anyway, but I'm pretty sure that I read that when a country activates, you set their production at what it should be. So, and then we're going to put these in Yugoslavia. So I'm going to put the... Right, where's the border then? Zagreb? Sorry, I don't know my... Yes, that must be Italy then. So, Zagreb, Split, Sarajevo, Belgrade. Right, I take these two away as well, actually, don't I? So we'll put something in the capital, and where does it go? It comes down to here and around. That's Albania, which is part of Italy, right? But they don't need to be in cities, remember, do they? They just need to be on a transport supply line, I think, don't they? Something like that. So I'm going to leave that one there because that's the one that we might bring across. And I'll put one there. And this. Split and Sarajevo. There we go. Right, that'll do. Okay. And yeah, I was meant to do that at the end of the last term, wasn't I? And then just needed to kind of dash away and whatever. Right, so I'll just leave that. But I might have, if I'd known that, and then I might have strategically moved this guy. Remember, he can't stop in Germany, but he can move through Germany and he could end up in France. Potentially, he could have, I don't know, ended up here or something like that. But we'll leave that just now. You know. And maybe these things shouldn't be getting done. I don't know. I don't know if other countries... There was certain other minor countries that joined the Axis, wasn't there? Or were they just forced into it? Or was it just Italy that joined? Yeah, you need to go and look up your history books, Grant, to be able to know these answers. Right, I'm going to push on because I want to just try and get this a quick part. And yeah, I'll probably not even get through the German operations phase with this part. The way things have been slugging along. But I've been enjoying it. I have been enjoying it. And that's how I like to do things. So, okay, so we took Paris back. We need to finish with, well... Yeah, I still feel like I want to finish with a unit in Paris. So we've got the 6th, no, that's the 9th, the 2nd, and the 6th. Yeah, I think we want the 9th to try and push this away so that we isolate that's in Calais, and then we'll go 2 infantry. So yeah, so we really want a retreat result on this one. So is this 1, 2, 3, 4? Is this the one that you maybe use the air then? Because that's the French air spent now as well, isn't it? So yeah, I forgot there. I'd opened the rulebook at the country setup and then read the first bit and moved on. And then I was saying, yeah, I think they can be put blah blah blah. Yeah, on map setup, first look, no. The ground unit is placed at full strength in a land hex. Oh, so it's just placed in a land hex. It doesn't actually need to be placed on a transport line at all. An air unit is placed with no sorties in a city fort transport line. A naval unit is placed with no sorties in a port hex. They must be in the country's mainland. Alright, a unit must be placed in a hex from which it is able to trace a supply line back to a supply source. So yeah, so it could be placed on a non-transport line as long as it can trace to a transport line to trace its supply. Right, that's fine. So yeah, back to that sense. So I think we're going to activate the 9th German infantry. So, but what are you going to put in Paris, Grant? Well, I guess I'm kind of hoping that one of these two are going to be able to do it. But it might take both of these to knock this guy out. And if that's the case, excuse me, then I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, oh yeah, I spoke about the Hungarian. Well, I don't want to put him in Paris though, because he doesn't get the +2. He's not German. You really only want him as an additional attacker. Well, we could switch places with that, I suppose. Or I could move things around a little bit, maybe. I'm not so sure I want to involve these garrisons holding this fort line. But he could move, because that's one, actually it's 1, 2 moving across the river. 3, 4, and then 5, 6 across the river. So he could move to there if need be. I mean, so could the Hungarian unit, but and if he did move to here, let's say whether we switch that with the Hungarian unit or we move this along a bit, maybe fill in a couple of these gaps with the garrison units. I suppose it's a little bit risky, but then again, the French aren't going to go piling through there because they have to trace supply back as well. So yeah. Right, so I think it's safe enough to activate this and go for this. So the 9th German infantry is going to attack the 9th French infantry. Well, actually, let's activate the 9th first. So knocks his production down to 22. And we'll give him 8 points. And the good thing here is it's just a straight clear hex. So he's going to attack into there just for 2 points. So yeah, you could have 4 shots at this. So do you want to even use that air? Because you're getting 4 shots at a +2 to a +1. Well, I'm pretty sure the first one we should just give it a go rather than using the air. Because the air can be used on this as well. And although it's important that we retreat this back, like I say, we've got 4 shots at it. Okay, still no guarantees with that, but I'm going to give the first 1 or 2 a shot anyway. Because we've got +2 for German, and it's against +1 for French. So I think the fact that we're ahead on the start, less risk of a stop result as well, which would be kind of devastating right now because you've got 3 more attacks potentially. So I'm going to have to put my jumper back on. I took it off and it's when it was warm and I come up. Didn't take long for it to get cold again. Right, that's better. Right, yeah. So I think we'll just go for this one straight up with a +2 against the +. Oh, there's French tanks, Grant. I forgot about them. So let me step back to say, are we going to commit or not? Again, this is, I have the knowledge of both things in my head, so I still don't think I'd do it, even if I thought they were going to play the tanks. So no, Germans aren't going to commit. The French, I don't think so either. I mean, aren't they better keeping it for Calais? Thing is, yeah, Calais' going to be isolated if you knock that guy out. Excuse me. Is there a chance if he played the tanks? Is there a stop result chance? So if he's on a 3 and we're on a 2, and he gets a 6, he's on a 9. Let's just say we get a 3. Oh yeah, easily, Grant. Yeah. In fact, there's a chance of that happening. You know, with a right swingy die result, even from there, that would give a 7. A 7 to a 3 is a stopped result. 7 to a 4 is a stopped result. So yeah, there is an attacker stopped. option, even at the odds that we're sitting at. It's less likely, yes. Well, I'll tell you what though. If he was to get a stop result in that right now, that would be a huge result. I think that means maybe play the tanks. Now, do I cycle back to my German thoughts and say, right, if he's thinking about that, maybe I should use the air. I mean, I kind of should. It sounds like I'm backtracking, but I'm not really. I mean, we've got to commit both at the same time. And although I've said the Germans are not going to commit, it's probably more important, this attack, I think. But what if the Germans commit their air and then the French decide not to commit their tanks? Then they're going to be looking at a 4-1 or a 4 +4 to a +1. Yeah, I think looking from a German point of view and realising that they do have tanks, I'd forgot they had tanks, so that they do have tanks and they could play it here and have a better chance of stopping this guy in his tracks. Which then means that this guy's safe. There's nothing else we can touch that with. I mean, yeah, we can still attack this, but it's then not isolated. Okay, so I'm going to rewind slightly. We are going to fly our last sortie on that. Because I feel this is an important bit up here. Well, yeah, it is, because what have we talked about? Maybe, because that couldn't... If we can get rid of the unit in Calais, if we can take Calais, then that means that 2nd Panzer unit can advance into Dijon, I think. 6. So we are going to fly there. So the Germans are going to come up. But again, the French don't know if they're going to come up, right? But I suppose if I'm looking at it from that point of view, I've got to look at it from the French point of view and say, look, we need to, if we can stop that guy now, so yeah, okay. So the French do play their tanks in. So I know that kind of like looks like, well, yeah, you've just covered both bases, haven't you? But because now that goes to a 4 and that goes to a 3, so it's not really changed an awful lot. But this is where the solo side of it is tough, you know. This is where, if I was playing somebody else right now, we would be secretly hiding our commitment and I would be looking there. If I was looking as the Germans, if you look at it and you decide and you look at what I just said there, I think it makes some sense that the Germans would want to fly the sortie and the French would want to play the tanks. And in some ways, the French would hope the Germans didn't fly their sortie. And, well, from the German point of view, they're sort of covering the base that they do play their tanks. Right, well, that's the best I can do. Unless somebody creates an AI for it, for the game, which would be great, but, yeah, okay. So, +4 for the Germans, +3 to the French. Here we go. Wow, I cannot believe the amount of times, honestly. Well, it's just as well that the Germans did play the air. Because if the tanks had been there, I want to say, right, well, what have we got here, though? It could be some. It's 10-9. No, surely not. Surely 10-9's are nothing. So what could have been there? If the Germans didn't play the air, it would be 8-9. Which would have been a no result as well. Is that right? Oh, hang on. Yeah, because it would have been a 2 + 6, 8, yeah. And if the French didn't play their tanks, it would have been a 7 Yeah, they would have got away with it, wouldn't they? That would have been a no result, either way. In every case, I think it's a no result. So I think that was that's a good result for the Germans now, because now that they can sit here, well, it's one attack going by though without the retreat, but now they can sit and attack 3 more times at these odds, and there's nothing the French can do about it. I'm going to move our tanks back to the next turn, which is September, and we're going to knock that dice down to 4. And we're going to attack again. But I have said that if it was a big swing that way, 6-1 or 2, it would stop them and stop them from the last 2 turns. So it's still doable. You know, they're no wild odds, but depends who gets the bigger die roll. So here we go. I think that might be a retreat. So it's a 5 to a 2. It is indeed a retreat. So the Germans do get the result on the second die roll. So that does get the result that they were looking for. Right, he can actually go back here, can he? Oh no, that's the only place he can go. Yeah. So he's going to retreat back into Le Havre, where the fighter command is. So if they were to advance after combat with 4 points left, they could still make an attack on Le Havre. Not so sure that's so important, but I still kind of feel like we made the mistake the last time of not advancing after combat into this hex, and then we didn't get a result on this guy. I mean, we've got this guy isolated now. Whereas I think the turn before he was up here, wasn't he? And he wasn't isolated. But I still maybe think we should advance after combat. See, the other thing is here, I could just stop there and then move him. No, as in not advance. Oh no, I can't, because we're in this guy's zone of control, aren't we? Well, you could actually have an attack on him now. Well, that would be better, Grant. So I will advance after combat, and that'll give you 3 chances of knocking this guy out. Yeah, come on. So we do advance after combat, and then, well, actually it's 4 to attack back into there because of the river. So enemy city is 2, river's 1, attacking the unit is 1, and attacking the unit of fair weather is 1. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to advance after combat into there, and then I'm going to switch to attacking this guy, the one in Cali. That spends the last 4 points. Yeah, I mean, he's just infantry as in a city, so there's the -1 for that as well though. So yeah, we're going to get a few attacks at it, but the odds are going to be +1 against +1, aren't they? For every one of them. Stop. I'm going to cross the river there as well. So I'm actually not. I'm going to get a 0. So it's going to be +1 for French. Do I want to do that? Stop. He's isolated, Grant. So if he's isolated, you get a +2. So give me my dice back. So it's +2 for German, +2 for the unit being isolated, and then -1 for the river, -1 for the city. So it is still a +2 against a +1. Yeah, I think we do it. Because the other guy that's in Le Havre, I would have been getting +1 to a +1, I think. And it doesn't, I mean, he's got a retreat as well. So I think it's better we concentrate on taking this guy out. Gives me 1 extra attack on that guy. Yes. Okay. Right, so nobody can commit anything. Again, yeah, some of you might have said this is where you should have kept the tanks for. You could quite possibly be right. But you can see what I was trying to do. If I stopped his attack, if we got a stop result, it then really screwed things up there. It then meant this guy was not going to be isolated for the rest of the turn. I believe. No, yeah, I think so. Right. Let's go with what you've got. You've got +2 for German, +1 for French, and nothing more than that. So here we go. Ooh. Well, that's a result we didn't want in the last turn anyway. That would have stopped it, I would think. Now, if it stops it here, it doesn't matter so much. So 4 to a 7 is indeed a stop result. See, that's the one they wanted that turn before, and then that would have protected that guy for the rest of the turn. So that does stop him. However, it was his last points in movement, so that's kind of fortunate for, in a way. Well, it is, yeah. I mean, if he still had 4 or 5 points left for another attack, you know. Okay, so moving on. Well, I guess we just go for the 6th or the 2nd. Well, we've done the air now as well, so that side of it doesn't matter. I still need to see though if we're going to have this as a supply line, and the only way we can get that is by eliminating this guy. So, so the attacks on this are going to be not crossing the river, so it's going to be 3 points. So these guys are both going to get 2 attacks, and the odds are going to be. Remember, he's isolated, so +2, +2, -1. So it's going to be 3 to 1, isn't it? Why did I only get 2 to 1 there? Because he was crossing the river. Yeah. So it's going to be 3 to 1, and they're each going to get 2 attacks. I'm pretty confident I should be able to deal with that. So which unit do you want to use first? Probably the 6th. Because if the 6th can just take that guy out by himself, then maybe the 2nd could be considered to be the unit to come down to Paris. Make some sense? Yeah. Okay, so we activate the 6th German infantry, taking us down to 21 production points. Okay, so he starts with 8 points, and you spend 2 to attack, 2 to move into an enemy city, and 1 to attack unit in fair weather. So that takes him down to 5. Like I say, we'll get 1 more attack if need be. And the odds are going to be +2 for German, +2 because the unit's isolated, -1 for the city, and it's +1 because he's French. So that's what we've got. So allies need to keep rolling like they did in that last one for a few turns. So here we go. Well, I'll tell you what, that might stop him. So he might not get this other attack. Well, it should stop him. That's a better roll than the last. Mind you, we had 3 instead of 2. So 4 to 7. That is indeed, though. Attacker stopped. So, okay. Hold your thoughts. So that's 2 of the 4 attacks gone. Because that's him done. So now, well, I say we've only got the 2nd. Is it possible we could squeeze somebody along in here for a wee nibble? Yeah, might be Hungarian though, which might not be so good. Okay, so, well, we've got to stick with this, I think. Yeah, so we're going to activate the 2nd, taking us down to 20 points. I'm just going to use the same dice there. So you had 8 points, he's spending 3 to make the attack. The odds are going to be the same. +3 to Germans, +1 to the French. Right, can they do it a 3rd time in the trot? Ooh, I don't think so. I think the Germans will be coming back. But I don't mean they're surviving. So it's a 5 to a... Yeah, it's a 5 to a 5, isn't it? So I'm pretty sure every one of them, if they match up the number, it's going to be a diamond, isn't it? So, yeah, but they've survived. They've survived that. So there's only one more chance for the Germans, so they're going to take it, though. They'll spend another 3. And there's definitely nothing more that they can add. Ooh, I will say that the Hungarians' mind could use ground support. So, could he get along there? 1, 2, 3, 4. He's attacking across the river. So it would be 5, 6, 7, 8. It would be... He would have enough movement to go and do it. But he would not get the +2 for Germany. He'd get +2 for isolated. Then he'd get -1 for the river, -1 for the city. But he would then be able to add a ground support to get a +1. Right, hopefully it's not needed and the Germans can take care of it. And that's... Well, I'm saying that, we need to wipe them out. So in actual fact, you need a DD result here. So there you go. Right, the numbers are the same. It's +3 to +1. So here we go. Ooh, well, it's going to be a retreat. Is it more than that? It's 8 to 4. And it's only a retreat. It was close. One more. A 5 and a 2 would have worked, or a 6 and a 3 would have worked. So just double checking. 8 to 4. It is a DR. So it is a retreat result. Now they cannot retreat. The Hungarians might be coming now then, because that's an extra, that's a -2 now to them, isn't it? To the unit. So he can't retreat, so he has to take a step loss. Which will give him a -2 to his die roll in combat. And a +2 to the attacker because he's isolated. That is, however, the second infantry. Well, yeah, he's got 2 points left, but he can't move away anyway. So that's that. Okay. Well, what are your options? Well, we know the Hungarian unit could do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 4 points to make 1. He's going to get 1 attack. He's going to be at +1 because we'll use a ground support. He's going to be at -1 because he's reduced. But he's still French, so he gets the +1 for that. +1, -2. Yeah, because this isn't going to make it then, is it? Well, no, because if that is just 8 from me move to there, this one's coming across the river. What about the first? He would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's not going to make it. The second Panzer would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he could. And you'd like to think that would seal the deal. And remember, you still need somebody to go into Paris. Well, it's not that the Allies can move straight in there. But I still think you'd want them to be fighting across that river into Paris. Rather, well, I mean, if they don't do that, they're going to be fighting across the river. Or fighting across the river there anyway. But it still feel a bit more comfortable having some unit in Paris. Thing is, I wouldn't want to put a garrison unit down in there, because then that's a -2 to the, you don't really want that. And could this come up, but then that's leaving a gap in there. I don't really want to move these two. Well, if anything, I want to move that into Dijon, but I get the feeling we might have to bring this 18th along into Paris, and we're going to be taking some slight risks with that. Okay, let's see if the Hungarians can do something. Yeah, it's your only option. Okay, so we're going to spend the 1 Hungarian production point to activate the Hungarian 2nd Infantry, and I'm going to move him. Remember, you're also moving him out of Sedan. Yeah, so you need to be careful about that as well. So if I do move this, I need to replace it with something else. Right, anyway, 1, 2, and then 3, 4 across the river. So he's got 4 points left. I'm not bringing the dice out because we're going to have to use all 4. 1, 2 to move into the enemy city. 1 because we're going across the river. And 1 attacking the unit. And well, actually, I'll leave him there because he might be advancing if he gets a result. Right, so pluses and minuses. He's not German, so he's not going to +2. We are going to commit a ground support to him. Because he is for the Axis. I mean, they can't be played on the German units because Germans have air support and tanks. However, the Hungarians do not. They don't have any air units or tank units in the game, so they're allowed to get benefit from the ground support. The unit he's attacking is still what's it? Isolated. So it's a +2 for being isolated and a +1 for the ground support. So, however, but making the attack, we're attacking across the river, which is a -1 and a -1 in the city. So it's going to be a +1 for the Germans. Sorry, the Hungarians. My bad. So +1 for the Axis anyway. And then the French are going to get +1 for being French, but they're going to get a -2 because they're reduced. So that's a -1, Grant. Remember that? It's not a +1. In fact, no, hold on. I will use my dice. There you go. So it's a -1 for the French, +1 for the German. In fact, I could even do it like that if we wanted to. Like I say, I like the colours of the dice, but okay, that's it. So let's do it. Let's see what happens. The last chance for the Germans to break into Calais. He is reduced, so a DR result would eliminate him. So here we go. Nice. I think that's going to do it. Well, yeah, no, I know that's going to do it. So that's going to be a 6, and this was a -1 anyway. So it's a 6 to a 1. And that is a DD result. So, Hungarians, yeah, see, that's why they were needed. So he takes a DD result, which is a disruption, which he loses a step. He loses a step, becomes eliminated. He was a full strength unit, so the French national will drops to 8. Yeah, I don't see why they don't advance. Yeah, because it means the French air's got to move as well. Yeah, I think the fact that they're Hungarian, we can sit in that, and then the Germans can move away. Yeah, I'm going to. I'll come back to that in a second. We're going to roll for that ground support. So the French is still. Well, that's going to have to rebase. I still want to say it's a different term, but I might be wrong. It maybe just is rebase. So the Hungarians have no movement left anyway. They're going to advance into Calais. So they take Calais. They are then done. And then because that air unit's in there, well, before that, French are going to lose 2 more national will. They're now down to 6, so it's now starting to look like something. It's now starting to look like 3 cities that the Germans need to just run through and grab. So, and, well, no, they've not broke through yet, have they? As such. And there's still not, there's a zone of control into there, and there's a zone of control into there, so there's not a gap. Okay, right, the French. Right, I'm going to come back to this air unit because I want to check a couple of things as well. We're going to roll to see where this goes. How many turns ahead on the track. Might not even be coming back. Oh, it's a 1. Well, not so sure the Hungarians will get involved again, but you never know. So that goes up on the turn track 1 turn ahead. That ground support marker, so it'll come back in September as well. And then because that air unit cassette was in there, it needs to, oops, sorry. Let me see if there is a different term for that. Displacement, I think that's it. Air naval displacement. Page 12, is it? Yeah. If a ground unit enters a hex containing an enemy air or naval unit, that enemy unit immediately moves out of the hex per Air 4.2.2 or Naval 4.2.4 movement rules. Exception, the unit cannot move using naval transport. The enemy unit moves even if it has 6 sorties. So although he does have 6 sorties, doesn't prevent him from moving. Cannot be intercepted, nor is the displaced unit considered activated because of it. When the displaced air unit is done moving, if it has less than 6 sorties, add a sortie. So yeah, so this is where you can be clever, that if he had 5 sorties left, you could kind of force it. You could move into his hex. If you can move into his hex, it means he's going to move away and spend that last sortie. So I've seen that I can't remember the handle. I'm pretty sure his name's Fred. Can't remember the name he goes by, his handle or whatever you want to call it. But I've seen him make a clever move like that, where he was able to move 2 air units away. In fact, there was the attack on France, I think. He was able to move 2 air units away, and they spent a sortie, and then he finished the sorties. 2 of them with 5 sorties, and then he air strike them down to 6. So that was quite smart, actually. Right, okay, so 4.2.2, so we can air movement. I'm just wondering, because the air unit is surrounded by German units here. Well, air movement prohibitions. Unit cannot enter an air movement prohibited hex. Unit cannot end a hex that violates stacking. Unit cannot end a hex containing an enemy zone of control unless the hex contains a friendly city for unit. That's end. Unit cannot end in a hex containing an enemy city for. Additional supply line must be able to be traced. An air unit can use air movement to move across hexes or stack the convoy unit. Right. Using the operational movement procedure 4.2.1. I don't think there's a restriction on moving through enemy units, and I'm pretty sure that'll tell me somewhere. And you would think it's in this area, and I'm just not seeing it. Right, I've pushed for a bit of time, so we're just going to we're going to assume that this is okay for it to do it. So where's it going to move? So you can move... you must be able to move the 10 hexes as well, like as in you're rebasing them, yeah. Going to go with that too. So he's there. Maybe Vici. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll fly it down to Vichy. Or Vici. So if it's there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. Yeah, that seems fine. Okay. Right, so this has been a better turn for the Germans, for sure. I'm at 45 minutes. I know I could push on a little bit further and we could deal with this, but I did want to just make it a quickish part and don't want to get much more involved. So I know that's only another part. I've not got through the Axis operations, but you can start to see, well, you're on part 23 now, so if you're still here, you know how I do things. I'm sure there's a lot of people left a long time ago, which is fine. That's fine. Okay with that. Like I say, I'm enjoying it, so that's the main purpose. Okay. Right, I will leave that and I'll come back tomorrow to finish off the Axis operations and see what the reply is from the western side. Yeah, remember you still don't have Paris covered, Grant, as well. Or Sedan? Yeah, well actually, or any of these cities up here will as well, but they're probably not under threat. I suppose this one's just close to the 4, which is slightly concerning. It looks like this is the guy that's probably going to come into Paris. I just don't think I want to leave it empty. I just feel like there's risk. Remember, we have pointed out that they've got a surprise attack marker, which could give them a +1 to all sort of attacks. Thing is, they're probably only using assault attack. Oh yeah, that was a good thing as well though. They can't get a 3 prongs assault on Paris because we moved into there, didn't we? So that's good as well. Okay, that was a better turn for the Axis up to now. It's not quite finished yet. I will be back tomorrow to finish it, so I'll see you then. Okay, cheers.